leap and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yes! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry, way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace 'em up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And it is the basketball show for the basketball fan on a Monday edition. Following All-Star Weekend on 10XL. RJ Saunders here with you. Dylan Denmark also here in studio. But most importantly, you guys are here, and we thank you for taking the time to be with us talking a little round ball on the Superstation. Your way on to the show, as always, is going to be the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. You can also leave us a voicemail on the pop-off line, 904-207-7071, or on the MyBookie Digital Studios, wherever you're watching us, whether on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. I'll have two questions of the day for you guys today. Normally on the weekends, we only have 1 hour, so we have one question. Today, we have a 2-hour program as we fill in for Ryan the Hacker Green and Rick Ballou. They'll both be back later this week. So we'll have two questions in honor of a very special program of Open Gym. The first, give me your favorite NBA All-Star moment. Any player, any season. It can be Vince Carter and the absolute showcase that he displayed in Oakland in the 2000 NBA Slam Dunk Contest during the All-Star festivities. You had Jordan's final All-Star game right up the road in Atlanta in 2003. That's one of the more memorable All-Star games of recent memory. I'd love to know from you guys. 641-1010. So I'll basically start with this because if we're being honest, if you watched All-Star Weekend or you watched the All-Star game, it was a bit of a dud. It had a few moments, but in all honesty, wasn't great. And it hasn't been great for a while. And the only thing I can honestly remember about this particular All-Star game is a kid winning $100,000, shooting a half-court shot against Damian Lillard. You had E40 with that loud blue jacket with the logo of all the NBA teams. Just not a great fashion statement. And hell, for me, it felt like there was more commercials than there was NBA ball being played. And the saying goes like this for me: if that wasn't enough, the All-Star game being an absolute dud, actions speak louder than words. And LeBron James and Anthony Edwards not playing last night in what was a meh of an All-Star game told me everything I needed to know in terms of their feelings about how they thought about the new format. And Bron essentially not telling anyone that he wasn't going to play until an hour before the ball was going to tip off in San Francisco for yet another All-Star game. Absolutely hilarious. This is LeBron James as to why he did not play last night.
We see from you tonight?
You won't see anything from me tonight. Unfortunately, I would not be in uniform tonight. Still dealing with ankle and foot discomfort, so I will not be playing tonight, unfortunately. You know, I hate that, but I'm looking forward to seeing the format. This is the first year for it. I know we got a lot of great, call us the OGs. That's hilarious.
You know, honestly, what that sounded like to me? You're trying this new format on us. There's 4 teams. One of those teams being a Rising Stars team that played on Friday. We play our games to 40. No, thank you. I'm going to get healthy. The Lakers as a team, we have a game on Wednesday. I get to play with Luka Doncic for 30 more games before the playoffs. And I honestly believe I have a shot at winning my 5th ring. And that's the face of your league, ladies and gentlemen. And if that wasn't enough, here's 4-time NBA champion Draymond Green expressing his displeasure of the format.
You
You work all year to be an all-star, and you get to play up to 40, and then you're done. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game really seriously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing after the points records, Melo and Kobe and all these guys who've had great scoring nights, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Also, we can watch some rising stars. We're about to watch the Olympic team. Now we get the treat of watching the Olympic team play against a U19 team. Come on, what are we doing?
To be honest with you, it surprised me how many players actually voiced their opinion about the uniqueness of the new format. Game's too short. We don't need 4 teams. Let's go back to East-West. If we're going to do a 4-team round robin, one of those teams needs to be full of all-star snubs, which basically takes out the reason as to why you have all-star snubs, because they weren't good enough to be all-stars or they didn't get enough votes. But for me, as you hear the words of Draymond Green and LeBron James, me just giving my translation as to what I felt he was saying through all those words that he was telling the media as to why he was not going to play, I can't help but not put this at the doorstep of the players. 100%. The players of the past, I think it goes without saying, they viewed being an all-star as an honor. It was an opportunity to promote their brand, but also a chance to send a message. There were storylines, there were games within inside of the game. It just wasn't an all-star game, but it was an opportunity to show a particular player or players that you're not better than me. We saw this with Jordan, but we also saw this with guys like Kobe and LeBron in 2009. Kobe loses the finals in 2008 to the Boston Celtics. LeBron James loses in 2007 to the San Antonio Spurs. These may be the 2 best teams coming into 2009. We may be getting a prelude, just a bit of a taste of what we could see in June right here in February. All these guys are friends now. They swap jerseys. They go easy on each other. You're not going to hear anything about a game within the game. A lot of these guys now this is my 13th All-Star appearance. This is my 9th All-Star appearance. This is my 20th All-Star appearance. This kind of gets pretty mundane after a while. And as much as Draymond Green, in my opinion, I can agree with some of the stuff that he said, I didn't hear him nor any other player attack Anthony Edwards when Anthony Edwards said last year, we now view the All-Star weekend as a break. We don't have to, nor do we need to go hard. It's a glorified exhibition. And to me, that screams a myriad of things, but it should let you know that that is the mindset of the players in today's NBA. And that messes with me. And I understand I'm only 30 years old, but I've seen plenty of competitive, great all-star games. And over the last few years, no competition at all, no effort at all. And here's Kobe Bryant, who essentially says it messes with him too for another reason.
I think the All-Star game in general needs a little revamping because it used to be competitive.
Yeah.
It used to be competitive. And, fans want to see the best pickup game in the world. That's what this is. They don't want to see you running up and down and dunking and doing all this crazy. They want to see what happens when you get this collection of best basketball players on the planet and they play and they go head up against each other.
Man.
I mean, you guys play harder at a pickup game in UCLA.
For real.
And ain't billions of people watching.
For real.
Definitely do.
And that's my problem. The Drew League in Los Angeles, that's an exhibition game. Jamal Crawford's crossover league in Seattle, exhibition game. Playing at Rico Hines' invitation-only pickup games at UCLA, those are pickup games. Those are exhibition games. They honestly mean nothing. Team USA, when they had those tune-up games before going to the Olympics, that was you understand. However, those games seemingly, to me, are taken more serious than an NBA-sanctioned exhibition. And why? Is it because you have love for Jamal Crawford, who says, listen, man, I need you to come out here to Seattle. We don't have a team here anymore, and the kids would love to see just a few of their favorite NBA players do what they do, even if it's for one day. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to them too. Rico Hines, when you hear him on YouTube, before they break out and disperse into their groups of teams in which they play the pickup games, he says, listen, you guys, each and every one of you need to understand your big picture. And if you guys are just going to come here and you guys are going to F around and not take this serious, I'll stop play. I'll kick you out. You won't be invited back. The Drew League is like any other league. It's not all NBA professionals. There's some hood dudes there. And we all know those guys that are great at your local park. They have a 9 to 5, but on any particular day that there's a run, they're there and normally are holding court. And if they are to find out over the summer, hey, LeBron's coming to town. You know, LeBron's playing next Saturday, the Drew League. And this social media era, you could get embarrassed. That hood dude can get a shot off on you. Maybe get a move on you, catch you slipping. So is that the problem? Is it fear of embarrassment? Listen, if Steph Curry lights up Donovan Mitchell, for example, in the All-Star game, we understand what Steph Curry is and who Steph Curry is. He's the greatest shooter of all time. But it's not like in the NBA All-Star game, you can't get your get back. That's really going to hurt your brand. That's going to tarnish your brand, tarnish your career, that you got lit up by one of the greatest shooters, if not the greatest shooter of all time. It's like what Rich Porter told AZ in Paid in Full. Players get shot every day, B. You'll be all right. So let me stop complaining, and let's ask about the fix. Is there one? Because the NBA isn't going to give up All-Star Weekend. It's a big money grab. The players aren't going to give back money to the NBA to take away All-Star Weekend. But let's say the players come to Adam Silver over the summer. We want to go back to 2 teams. What's the fix now? I keep hearing about this money on the line. You mean get paid for what you're already doing? Put $10 million on the line. What's $10 million to players that are making $200, $300, $400 million? That money is probably going to go to a charity. As we saw what they did in 2020 during that All-Star game in Chicago, I believe. The team that won the quarter, a donation was given to a local Boys and Girls Club or to some foundation that was out there for a great cause. So what is pay going to do? The only thing in which I can come to grips with is what we talked about with Frank Frangie. An international team versus Team USA. And they may go to that in a couple years. Is that the fix? That's okay, but I do have a fear there. If you make this a game of players from across the water versus Team USA, and let's just say that game is not even taken seriously and Team USA loses, I feel like the NBA, that league office is sending black trucks to everybody's house. You mean the international guys are kicking our ass like this? As much as we love the European players, the European style, We as Americans are supposed to be the best in the world. We've done this since 1992 when David Stern talked to the Olympic Committee and said, let the pros play. This was not just to push the NBA, but to send a message to the rest of the world. We have the best guys. We are supposed to be the best league in the world. The NBA is an American-created league. And as much as we love the idea and the terminology of global game now, and we've adopted a European style, the NBA is not a place to admit openly that the international guys are our best guys. So for me, I'm not saying that they have to treat this like a Game 7. We just need a bit more effort. Because LeBron James can speak volumes about not playing. Draymond Green can speak his mind about his displeasure. But this is on the players, whether they like it or not. And the NBA, they're trying to do whatever they can to make this a watchable product. And they have some level of culpability too, because what did you give us? An annoying Kevin Hart, a cringe Mr. Beast, and LiAngelo Ball swerving and bending corners. Don't do that to me, Dylan. Is there anything that you could do if you were king for a day that you would make this game more competitive? Let us know, 641-1010. We will be accepting callers throughout the program. You can also hit us up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures or on the MyBookie Digital Studio. When we come back, when it comes to the legacy of an NBA player, what's more important, NBA championships or regular season MVPs? Let's discuss that next right here on Open Gym.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
Florida aims to overwhelm Oklahoma on their trip to the top. Gators Sooners, tomorrow night at 7 on 1010 a.m.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local women-owned solar company. At Clay Solar, we're more than just panels and power. We're about people. We make the switch to clean energy simple, stress-free, and built to last. If you've had a bad experience with solar in the past, we can help. We specialize in dependable solutions and top-notch customer service, so you can finally enjoy the savings and sustainability you deserve. Schedule your free consultation at claysolar.com.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Soccer continues to grow on the First Coast, and so does the need for better coverage. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley
on the Sporting Jax Soccer Hour, Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
What is the busiest airport in the world?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport is the busiest airport in the world, serving over 100 million passengers.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Filling in for Rick Ballou and Ryan the Hacker Green. It's a little show we like to call Open Gym. We're normally on Sundays. Glad that you guys are with us. RJ Saunders here with you along with Dylan Denmark. So we sit in barber chairs and church pews, bar stools, and we always have the fun conversations of whose career would you rather have? Jordan or LeBron, Jordan or Kobe, Magic or Bird. And Gil's Arena, they had an interesting conversation when it comes to legacies in terms of what's more important. Is it winning league MVP or is it winning an NBA championship? This is Kenyon Martin, along with Rashad McCants, Brandon Jennings, Nick Young, and Gilbert Arenas on what means more to an NBA legacy.
You. Right, if I'm going to the MVP is you. Championship is your team.
Hey, Allen Iverson. I'm going home with the Finals MVP.
Allen Iverson has a league.
So I'm taking home two.
Not necessarily.
Yes, necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Like, Kobe got.
You don't have to be.
Kobe got one MVP, 5 championships. I mean, we talk about and 2 finals.
We say he should have more. Say it again. And we
Kobe
say
got
he should
5
have
championships.
Say it loud for the
people. 5 championships.
Say he should have more.
And nobody talk about the MVP.
He should have more. Before he won a championship. Before he won a championship. Oh, he didn't even go.
I want
the championship
and Finals MVP.
Because Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I said that's the same thing Tatum thought. That's the same thing Curry thought. That's the same thing Curry thought, right? That because he's the best player, he was going to win Finals MVP. He lost it to someone. Tatum lost his. Right now, who's the top 5 shooting guards in the NBA history?
Charles Barkley.
There's 2 people who haven't won no championship, and they in front of Klay Thompson for damn sure. Klay got 4 of them as the second option. Allen Iverson's in front of him, and James Harden's in front of him. MVPs, you stand on your own merit first.
A lot there, but I'll try to break this down as best I can and as quickly as I can. When it comes to MVPs, the argument that I hear is that the requirement changes from year to year. We never really seem to have a concrete definition as to who deserves to be the most valuable player, at least in the NBA. And we also, I believe, see this debate in the NFL. Kobe Bryant, it could be argued that he should have more than 1 MVP, just as Jordan should probably have more than 6. You could probably argue that LeBron should have more than 4. Heck, you even got a guy like Shaquille O'Neal. He's still mad over the fact that Steve Nash has 2 regular season MVPs over him. You have guys such as Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Derrick Rose, Steve Nash, AI. They're all looked at great players. But when we speak on them, do we speak on the fact that they have an MVP or that they weren't NBA champions? When we look at the greats, at least in the NBA, I feel that championships are something that's undeniable. winning a ring and winning finals MVP. That's for the tier 1 and the tier 2 players of the game. You heard Kobe say when he lost in 2008, he won the MVP that year, but ran into a buzzsaw in the Boston Celtics, and he said this wasn't about winning the MVP. This was about winning a championship. Because for him, at the end of his career, he felt that the argument wasn't going to be to a guy like Pau Gasol or Lamar Odom. They weren't going to look at them and say, well, you didn't win an NBA championship. They were going to be looking at Kobe. And also a thing that drove Kobe Bryant was individuals were saying, well, can you win one without Shaquille O'Neal? Because we believe that Shaquille O'Neal is the person who carried you to an NBA championship. Jordan, I remember he did an interview on the Oprah Winfrey show. And his best friend at the time, Charles Barkley, he said you could argue he's one of the greatest players of all time, but he never won an NBA championship. Lets you know along the lines in which he's thinking. You know who held him to that standard, though? It was us. Whether the casual basketball fan or the diehard basketball fan. To be viewed as great, you got to win at the highest level. You can be an MVP. Hell, you could be top 5 in the league. But if you've only won an MVP, as great as you were, the question that's going to be asked is, why didn't you win an NBA championship? Think I'm lying? Let me give you a couple of examples. LeBron was winning his MVPs the first go-around in Cleveland. Those comparisons to Mike start to come up, and those old heads, I hear you through the speakers. Jordan has 6. Where's yours? So what LeBron does is he goes to Miami, gets his rings, does the same with Cleveland. Now, not all rings are created equal, but that stigma of not having a ring, at least in LeBron's case, that left as soon as he won the title. To be honest with you, I think winning 4 championship rings for Steph Curry helps his argument in the pantheon of great players. In a LeBron James-dominated era in the 2010s, I beat LeBron 3 times to win a championship, and then won a 4th ring when pundits said that the championship window was closed, and LeBron James was going to the finals every year. I can understand what Gilbert Arenas is saying when he talks about you have a guy such as Allen Iverson or James Harden being put above Klay Thompson. Now, I do believe that depends on how you're trying to build your team and who you would rather have if you're building a team. But you're not putting AI or James Harden above Dwayne Wade. The first thing we're going to say about Dwayne Wade is he's a 3-time champion. And he won 0 regular season MVPs. So when it comes to the Hall of Fame, or for those who do have questions, legacies are all encompassing. What are all your accolades in the NBA? But to the GOATs, you have to win at the highest level. And that meant way more than winning a regular season MVP. My thoughts, I would love to hear yours, 641-1010. Interesting conversation that was had over the weekend when asked by the media. Victor Wembanyama said LeBron James is underrated. Is he? The voice of the LA Lakers, John Ireland, is going to join us next to talk about that, the Luka Doncic trade, and expectations for the Lakers in their final 30 games of the regular season right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Share a cup of coffee and range balls with Dan, Jeff, and PGA pros. Tour news, tips, and inside info.
Sounds like a lot of club for this young man.
Brunch with the Tour.
Brought to you by Clearwater Irrigation, 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL. Now, The Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Brought to you by San Jose Collision.
Fresh off two massive road victories over number 1 Auburn and number 22 Mississippi State, the Gators are finally back in Gainesville this weekend, welcoming South Carolina to town. The O-Dome is going to be rocking as they look for their 4th straight win, with only 7 games left before SEC tournament play. Catch Saturday's tip-off action at 8:30 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging in the mirror? Fine lines, sun damage, redness? They don't have to be part of your future. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, and I can help you look and feel your best without invasive surgery or painful treatments. Imagine rejuvenating your skin in a relaxing, comfortable environment with minimal to no downtime. Smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, and restore that youthful glow. Find out how to look and feel your best at Dermagnify.com. Dermagnify.com.
Hey folks, Nick here for Zero Res, and if you still have a little bit of time for the hottest price of the year on carpet cleaning, maybe you had people over for the game or you're doing early spring cleaning, but in February, only $147 for 3 rooms, plus the 4th room is free. That's right, schedule now and you'll get 3 rooms for $147, and the 4th room is free. Yeah, the 4th room is on me. Hottest price of the year. Zero Res. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Tensions build.
3rd and 12. Let's go.
Plot thickens.
We got to get off the field.
Crowds roar. Tune in and let the show begin. Your home for live play-by-play is 1010XL.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
You survived the cold, and it's time to heat up your spring with a cigar tasting of Perdomo cigars. Join Tobacco Cove Saturday, February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. for a tasting extravaganza featuring Perdomo cigars rolled in Nicaragua. Food, drinks, and specials on cigars. This is your chance to experience the quality and value Perdomo offers. Tobacco Cove on Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Joe C. for Blossman Gas. They've been providing hometown service and the comforts of propane to home and businesses since 1951. Imagine movie night spent around glowing gas fireplace logs, cookouts in the backyard with your propane grill, or laundry done faster with your gas dryer. Blossman has a wide variety of gas appliances to fit your needs. Propane delivery, gas appliances, and a full service team. Blossman Gas is your local company for everything propane. Blossman Gas, log on, blossmangas.com, and check out the Blossman difference.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
This is Daytona, the awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross, and the most challenging course to witness the air-catching, adrenaline-pumping, heart-pounding action unlike any other race in Florida. Daytona Supercross. The biggest names battle it out under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 1st. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
If I can be completely honest with you, I hate bothering our next guest because he's essentially the voice of my childhood, being an LA kid. Him along with Chick Hearn, Stu Lance. Essentially, I'm saying while you guys were watching cartoons, I was watching Laker pregame shows on KCAL 9 featuring Alan Massengale, James Worthy, and our special guest, John Ireland. He is the radio play-by-play voice of the Los Angeles Lakers, also one half of the Mason and Ireland show on ESPN LA. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at LA Ireland. And he is kind, and I do not use that term lightly, kind enough to give us a few moments of his time to talk about the purple and gold. Mr. Ireland, I can't thank you enough, sir. How are you?
RJ, I'm great. How are you? But by the way, that means I'm really, really old. is that whole summation means I'm just older than dirt.
Absolutely
but I'm happy to be on with you.
Thank you, and I'm glad to have you on the program. Definitely means a lot to me. So you've been through a lot of All-Star breaks during your time being with the Los Angeles Lakers. What's a typical All-Star break look like for one Mr. John Ireland?
Well, today I'm in Idaho. My wife. Her family's from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so we come up here every summer. I've never been up here in the winter, but a few years ago we built a place up here, so I wanted to see what life would be like in the winter up here. And it's like a Hallmark movie, RJ. There's snow everywhere. There's trees. I didn't realize that I was going to need to learn how to drive in the snow. So I've spent the majority – I know in Jacksonville you guys don't get a lot of that,
right.
But I've spent the majority of this weekend learning how to drive in the snow, and so far so good. I haven't injured anyone, especially me, so that's a good thing.
I know that Corporate Greg as well as Mason asked you when you were in Utah, did you do any skiing or snowboarding? Did you do any of that in Idaho?
No, I thought about going snowmobiling yesterday, but then it was a choice of that, RJ, or eating a bunch of spaghetti and watching the Saturday Night Live show. So I decided to do that. It just seemed like it was safer. So that all kind of worked out.
Absolutely. Continuing our conversation with John Ireland. He is the radio play-by-play voice of the LA Lakers. So kind of got to get to the meat of it all. I mean, without question, one of the more heart-stopping trades in NBA history, as now Luka Doncic is a part of the purple and gold. John, for you, has it set in yet for guys like you, Mason, Michael Thompson, and the rest of the crew that Luka's a Laker? And if you could you just take us behind the curtain of what that first night was like in the building for his debut?
Well, I'll even take it back earlier than that. They traded for Luka about an hour after they beat the Knicks in New York City.
Right.
So all of us were on the bus. We're heading back to the hotel. We weren't flying home until the next day. And word started to leak through that they had traded AD for Luka. And RJ, at the time when I heard it, I was absolutely convinced the report was false.
Yes.
On both fronts. I thought the Mavericks would never trade Luka. I thought the Lakers would never trade AD. And to trade them for each other is the strangest trade deadline of my lifetime.
Yes.
And, prior to that, Pau Gasol was probably the biggest impact trade the Lakers made in season. But this, exchanging two top 10 players for each other, especially Luka, who's 25,
right,
and is a 5-time first-team All-NBA guy. I mean, still doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure what Dallas knows or thinks they know that the rest of the world doesn't. But, RJ, this was a heart stopper. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody knew. I'm not even sure until it was done that LeBron knew.
Okay.
And so we were all just kind of reacting to it in real time, thinking that, okay, there's something's got to happen here. This has got to be false.
Right.
Somebody's pulling our leg. And it just turned out, the more it went on, that it wasn't false. It was true. And it's the most stunning trade of my career. I started in the NBA in 1998. So I've been at this for 27 years.
Right.
And I've never seen anything like it. A top 3 player in the world traded at age 25 without, in my opinion, any reason to do it. I don't understand what Dallas is thinking, but I've known Nico Harrison, their GM, for a long time. He's a smart guy. Maybe he does know something we don't. But if you're a Laker fan, it was Christmas 2 months after Christmas. It was crazy.
Absolutely. Now, I heard James Worthy during the pregame show for Luka's debut. He said that the vibe inside Crypto.com arena it felt different. It felt almost as if it was the NBA playoffs or the NBA finals in LA. Did you kind of have that feeling? Did the vibe feel different coming into work when Luka made his debut for the Lakers against the Utah Jazz?
No question. And RJ, I always say that nobody does big events like the Lakers.
Oh, right.
Whenever they need to retire a number or they need to honor somebody or somebody makes their debut, and they hit it out of the park again on this one. When you walked into the arena, there was a 77 Luka shirt over every seat. So when he walked into the building, there were 18,000 people wearing 77 shirts, and it was almost like a celebration. And he's not quite in basketball shape yet. He only played 24 minutes, but every once in a while he would make a pass or make a move where you can see what's coming down the road. And I think it's going to be spectacular. The question is, can the Lakers figure out what to do about size? They traded a lot of size when they got rid of AD. We're not very big right now.
Right.
And can Luka and LeBron kind of adjust on the fly? And if those two things happen, the Lakers could make a run here.
Continue our conversation with the radio play-by-play voice of the L.A. Lakers, John Ireland, joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. You mentioned LeBron James. It's absolutely incredible what he's doing in year 22 for the L.A. Lakers, and it also seems to me that he's gotten a big jolt of energy with Luka Doncic now on the team, but it was interesting to me that Victor Wembanyama, there's a video that's going around that he says that LeBron James has kind of been looked at as underrated now across NBA circles, at least in his opinion. You see what he does night after night. Do you think Wemby has any sort of a point that a guy that's still dominating the way he is in year 22 has now become underrated?
Well, no one's ever done it, RJ, at his age. I mean, nobody at age 40 has ever put up numbers like this. As a matter of fact, if you put together everybody who's ever played at the age of 40 and added up all their numbers, you still don't get to LeBron. I mean, guys like Vince Carter and Kevin Willis, and they were just, collecting checks on the way out. LeBron's the best player on our team, and he's 40. He's the oldest player in the league. So I see what Wembanyama is saying. I don't understand people that aren't enjoying the LeBron ride. Frankly, RJ, I don't understand the Bronny hate. A lot of people are taking stuff out on Bronny, who is, 19 years old, 20 years old now, just trying to get a start on what he's doing. So I consider myself lucky that I have kind of a front row seat to watch LeBron do this every night, but he's the most underrated passer I think I've ever seen.
Okay.
He's, of course, the NBA's all-time leading scorer.
Right.
And when he wants to, he can still play defense, and he's a great rebounder. So he really doesn't have a weakness.
Now, a couple more for you before I get you out of here. And again, thank you so much for giving us a couple moments of your time. But I was listening to you guys on Mason and Ireland not too long ago, and you brought up a great point when it came to the LA Lakers about 3 weeks ago when they played the Knicks. If anybody would have told you that the Lakers at that point were going to have one of the best records in the NBA, and defensively they would be one of the top teams in the NBA without Anthony Davis, I'm like you. I don't know if I would have believed it. Yet here they are. Do you think that this can bleed in to the second half of the year for the LA Lakers to continue being that dominant defensive team that we've seen in recent weeks?
Well, it'll be interesting because Max Christie was our best on-ball defender, and he went in the Luka trade. And Anthony Davis was our best defender, period.
Yeah.
And he went in the trade.
Right.
So the Lakers are going to have to reinvent their defense. But you're right. Up until that point, they had a 6-game win streak probably a week and a half ago, and they were the number one defensive team in the NBA during those 6 games, which if you would have told me that before the season, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah.
They're just not that good defensively. But they've figured some things out. They've done a really good job of taking the other team's best player away. When we were in New York, they did it to Karl Anthony Towns. Then we went to the Intuit Dome, and they did it to James Harden.
Right.
And, they continue to Pascal Siakam couldn't get anything going against them. So J.J. Redick and Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks and that whole coaching staff has turned up the defense. The question is, RJ, can they continue to do it now that they don't have Max Christie and don't have AD? That's probably the number one question moving post-All-Star break is what are the Lakers going to be like on defense? Offensively, they're going to be awesome.
Right.
I mean, when you have Luka and LeBron and those two creating for other people, I think they're going to score 130, 140 points a night. The question is, are they going to give up 145? We need to see what the defense looks like. They're undersized. As I mentioned, their two best defenders a month ago are no longer here, so they're going to have to reinvent the wheel again. But they've found something over the last 2 to 3 weeks, scheme-wise, that has made them a much better defensive team. And the question is, can they keep it going? I'm getting ready to fly back to L.A. tomorrow. We've got a back-to-back coming up with Charlotte Wednesday and then at Portland on Thursday.
Right.
Lakers will be favored in both those games, but can they defend? Since Luka got here, they've played 2 games. The first game, they look great. Second game, not so much. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
Final couple of moments with the radio play-by-play voice for your Los Angeles Lakers, John Ireland. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at LA Ireland. You brought up J.J. Redick. I just want to know from you your assessment of the job J.J. Redick has done so far.
He's been great and surprisingly good for a rookie head coach. I think one thing I've noticed about J.J. is he's a confident guy. He's not lacking, in presentation or selling points or any of that stuff. He's good at this naturally.
Right.
But he also was smart enough in the beginning to say, I've never been a head coach, so I'm going to surround myself with people that have been through this. So the first 2 hires they made were Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks, 2 guys that, 2 former NBA coaches of the year that have been there, and he leans on them a lot. So I've been really impressed with JJ. I think that if it wasn't for the insane job that Kenny Atkinson's doing in Cleveland, that JJ would get some Coach of the Year votes. But Kenny should win it. He's been great there. He's turned that whole team around. Mark Daigneault won it last year in OKC. So I think Kenny Atkinson's the Coach of the Year. But I think JJ's going to finish top 5, and he's been really good.
Final question for you, because I do want to ask you just one more question when it comes to the great Kobe Bryant. But want to bring up Dalton Knecht. Just in your opinion, how integral of a part is he going to be for the LA Lakers in the second half of the year? I mean, I understand fully he's still trying to figure out and digest the fact that he was traded. The trade was rescinded. He was brought back. Once he gets over that hill, however, do you think that he's going to be a very important piece for the LA Lakers in the second half?
He could be. He's an unbelievable shooter. He's already had a game this year where he made 9 threes. He's got to work on his defense.
Yeah.
He's got to work a little bit on, when he was at Tennessee, RJ, he was the best player on the team, and he had a green light to shoot whenever he wanted.
Right.
Here, they want him to shoot, but he's on a court with now Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. So I think sometimes he's a little hesitant. They've told him, and I think this is smart, we're going to take you out if you don't shoot. We want you to shoot.
Okay.
So especially LeBron. LeBron's really encouraging him to shoot. So he absolutely can be a weapon for the Lakers. And I wouldn't worry about the trade thing. It happened so fast that even though he got traded and he hopped on a plane to Charlotte and then turned around, he described it as like being in a movie. And, it was quick.
Right.
And he was right back with the Lakers. And the Lakers are still the only NBA team he's ever played for. I don't think the trade's going to have a hangover, but he's got to defend better, and he's got to shoot when he's open. He's done a better job of that. I'm very high on him.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers stole him with the 17th pick.
Absolutely.
And so I think he can be a key contributor. And one thing, RJ, is that when you have Luka and LeBron on the same team, you have to double those guys, both of them, which means guys like Austin and Rui and Gabe Vincent and Dalton Knecht and Jared Vanderbilt are all going to be open. And so if they can make open shots, they have a real chance to make an impact. Let's see if they can do it.
Before we let you go, Mr. Ireland, you got to give me another Kobe story. I was sitting down almost crisscross applesauce when you gave me the Larry Drew story, and then you also told an incredible story about Mike Trudell beating Kobe in a game of ping pong. Do you have another Kobe story for us, the listeners here in Jacksonville, before we get you out of here?
Well, I think that, did I tell you the 17 beer story in Houston?
No, I'm sitting down. Okay. No.
Okay, so we're playing a playoff series one year in Houston.
Okay.
And we're playing a Sunday day game, and it's game 3 of a best-of-5. And so we arranged for our plane to bring us home on Monday night after the game, thinking that we weren't going to necessarily sweep them.
Okay.
So we win the first 2 games at L.A., we go down to Houston, and we win game 3 and end the series on a Sunday day game. But we don't have a plane to take us home because we didn't think we were going to sweep them. We thought they would probably win a game, and so we weren't able to fly home until Monday. So I have to stay at the arena. I have to stay at the Toyota Center after the game, and I'm doing live shots back to KCAL. And I walk in, I don't know, it was maybe 5, 6 o'clock, and I walk into the bar, and Kobe motions to me. The whole team's in the bar, the players, the traveling staff, the coaches, because we basically had a free night, you know, and the series was over. So I walk over to Kobe. He calls me over. He goes, "Hey, John, you want a beer?" And I said, "Kobe, you don't need to buy me a beer."
Right.
And he kind of smirks, and he points down. And I look down, RJ, and there are 17, I counted them, 17 open but full beers at his feet. And he's standing up against the wall in the corner. And I go, why do you have 17 beers?
Right.
And before I could even finish the thought, some guy walks up to him, some fan, and said, "Kobe, you're my favorite player. I always wanted to buy you a beer. Here you go." And hands him number 18. And Kobe smiles, says thank you, and puts it down. He goes, "I'm not buying you a beer. I'm giving you one. And tell the rest of the TV crew to get over here because there's no way I can drink all of these." And I thought to myself, that's his life.
Yeah.
You know, people just walking up to him unannounced and giving him stuff.
Wow.
I'll tell you one more quick one. One time I was in Minnesota, and I see a girl. We're walking through a mall. It's so cold there that if you want to get any exercise, you got to go walk through the mall.
Right.
So I'm walking, just getting exercise, and Kobe's walking with one of our security guys doing the same thing. He just wanted to get out of his room and stretch his legs.
Right.
And some girl, a big girl, RJ, from behind the counter at one of the stores goes, "Oh my God, it's Kobe Bryant." And she runs out of the store. It's like a Sephora. She runs out of the store and trips head first and falls flat on her face, and her face is blood. I'm afraid her nose is broken. There's blood coming out of her nose. It's all over the place. And Kobe and the security guy walk up to her and go, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I am now. I got to get a picture with you." So he goes, "Well, since you're bleeding to death, I think you should take care of your face first. But if you want a picture, I'll do it." She takes a picture. So somewhere in Minnesota, there is a girl with a picture of her with a giant smile on her face, which is completely bloodied, standing next to Kobe because he provoked that type of response in people. And I'm sure that girl, Kobe, made her day just taking the picture.
Right.
But, man, I've never seen a girl take a header like that and pop right up and be so happy.
Oh, my God.
I thought that she'd be embarrassed or sad or hurt. None of the above. She was just ecstatic that Kobe stopped to take a picture with her. He was a global star.
Oh, man.
And by the way, to bring this conversation full circle, that's Luka. I've only been on one trip with Luka, and people are coming out of the woodwork to talk to him. So with Luka and LeBron, we're gonna have a very fun travel party from now until the Lakers are done, which hopefully will be in June.
Absolutely. Kobe Bryant forever will be missed by us Laker fans and the NBA community at large. And I am finished being a little kid sitting in the living room listening again to one John Ireland. John, thank you so much. Hopefully we can do this again sometime down the line. I promise not to bother you too much, but thank you so much again for coming on the program.
My pleasure, RJ. Have a great show.
There he goes, John Ireland. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM. 1010XL celebrates African Americans who positively impacted the First Coast. I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll share Black History Month stories with you throughout February. Black History Month on 1010XL is brought to you by Instant Keys and McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Big moment.
Play-by-play is full of plot twists.
Did that just happen?
And high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
When the heat's on high or the chill is too much, who you gonna call? Cool Cats Heating and Cooling is locally owned and operated with a perfect touch. You'll keep your home just right, day or night. AC to heating, don't take a beating. Call the coolest cats in town. With a 5-star Google rating, they're your neighbors, ready to help. So get your paw of approval from Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. CoolCatsJax.com.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Your new roof from Universal Roof and Contracting can help save a life. Percentage of every new roof this month will go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude's is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. This promotion ends February 28th. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Many thanks to John Ireland, the radio play-by-play voice of the Los Angeles Lakers, joining us here on the program all the way in Jacksonville, Florida. Is the basketball show for the basketball fan. Open Gym is what we like to call it around these parts. RJ Saunders here with you, Dylan Denmark also in studio as well. We're normally on Sundays from 11 to noon, but with Hacker and Rick Ballou out today, the GM decided to give us an opportunity. So we are glad that you guys are taking time out of your busy day to listen to us talk a little round ball. So I'll continue with this here because the NBA on TNT, to me, I think has transcended just basketball. I think it's probably one of the most beloved shows in sports television. But is the program hurting the NBA product in terms of failing to promote it? There's a saying that's always gone through my mind that you only get one chance really to make a first impression. And as much as we say that we don't care about what people think about us, I believe that in the beginning we do. That first encounter. When it comes to jobs, whether you work off of Beach, off Atlantic, you make that drive all the way to Nocatee, Yulee, Baldwin. Your brand, no matter how big nor how small, it matters. Those potential employers, they ask for letters of recommendation, trying to get a gauge on the type of person in which you are. You never want your reputation to precede you. I'm learning this 5 years in now to radio. And Dylan can also attest to this. Branding and imaging, huge in our industry. So that you, the listener, driving home from work right now, stopping to get food for the family or just yourself, or maybe just getting in the car because you have to go to work, you're doing the late shift, this is your second job. Branding and imaging gives you an idea of who we are, what we do, and why you should listen to us. The NBA on TNT is a major program in terms of how the game is perceived. It's similar to that of ESPN or NBA TV. And once we get more streaming services such as the NBA on NBC, when they make their comeback, Amazon Sports now getting into the fray, this is only going to magnify the gravitational pull of how we look at today's player. But there are those who seem critical of Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley because they don't give the flowers to the stars of tomorrow. It seems that they're coming off as protecting their era, as opposed to saying we've had our time. This is a young man's game now, and this is how they take in and digest the game. Here is Jason McIntyre on The Herd with Colin Cowherd, speaking on the criticism he has when it comes to the NBA on TNT.
I would argue that Inside the NBA, the show that everybody loves, has done more damage to the NBA in the last decade than anything. Forget about this woke and left and right. Yeah. Inside the NBA goes on every week and just trashes players, trashes the style of play. Colin, you look at any other show, MLB Network, NFL Network, these shows, our network, we're all positive. We're excited. We're talking about the games. Inside the NBA, they just hammer the players. Charles Barkley's on TV. The Rockets are in the Final Four for that NBA Cup. Oh, the Rockets don't know how to play basketball. They stink. They don't know what they're doing. What are you doing? You're damaging your product on a nightly basis, hammering it.
So there's been an argument the entire NBA season that the ratings are at an all-time low. Now, I do want to ask this to you, the listener, 641-1010. How many of you are not watching the product because of the breakdown that guys like Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal kind of paint when they're talking about the NBA. Now, I'm 30 years old. Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny have never influenced how I view the game. At the same time, I'm a guy who loves basketball. I've always looked at the game through my own eyes. I may not be the biggest fan of today's era. I'm not here to tell you that I am. I don't like the load management aspect. I don't like the influx of three-point shooting because the idea is that 3 is worth more than 2. But I can appreciate what some guys in the league today are able to do. And this is coming from a 90s kid. However, I'm not the guy you're trying to go after if you're TNT. You're going after the young man and the young woman that's the casual fan. Let's just say the Frank Frangies of the world, the Rick Balloos of the world, that say maybe I'll watch during Christmas. I'll watch LeBron. I'll watch Curry. I'll watch the playoffs. I'll watch All-Star. The NBA is trying to figure out how can I get a guy to watch on February the 17th? How do we get them to not want to watch whatever is streaming on Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus? That's who we're trying to chase now. And because they're trying to chase them, does that hurt the diehard fan like myself, like yourself? Where you can say, hey, I think Anthony Edwards is great. I like Luka. But at any other time, you can forget it. I'm not watching the game. I come from a different time. The aesthetic is not what I like. It just doesn't seem to fit me. Apparently, it doesn't fit Draymond Green either. Here's the NBA champion talking about the game being too boring.
It's not smart basketball no more. I saw a clip not too long ago where Kobe said, like, yo, it's accidental basketball. And he couldn't have been more right. It was so refreshing to play against Bron because every possession is like a chess match. But you don't just get that on a regular basis. It's just who can run faster, who can hit more threes. It's no substance. And so I think it's very boring.
Now the game of basketball is a cyclical one. But the game of basketball is also one that's evolving. I think the game, honestly, on the one hand, is going back to the dominance of the big men. We see this. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic. But the days of Shaq are gone. The NBA did a roundtable discussion and included Reggie Miller, Shaquille O'Neal, Steve Kerr before he was the coach of the Golden State Warriors. And Reggie simply puts his hand on the shoulder of Shaquille O'Neal and looks at all of the former NBA players in that room and he said, we're never seeing this again. Shaq, Ewing, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. Those days are done. But does it diminish the fact that the NBA is a bad product? To some. There are a lot of people that believe that shouldn't be the case. You know who also believes it? One Kevin Garnett.
We've been taught to see the game through this lens. Man, there's a new lens up, but we keep looking through it through here. LeBron James, 40 years old, he banged on oh, you saw that. Banged on man, 40. We got like that shit go. Out of here. Right. Are we fucking serious? That was crazy. Are we fucking serious? That was crazy. Are we, man, no, the reverse. The reverse. Banged on at 40, and guess what we did? Oh, yeah, LeBron James another dunk and went on to the next. That's because who ain't played at 40, like who ain't 40, ain't never felt 40, ain't never dunked on the 40. No, you're right. You're right. Get the out of here, man. Man, we got to do a better job of looking through this new lens and glorifying the game, bro.
Right. On my mama, man. On everything I love.
Oh, you're right.
We got to do a better job of looking through this lens. All that we seeing is we ain't never seen. The took the right leg jab. He put left hand jump, one leg trade. Nah, I ain't never seen that, Pete. I ain't seen it in Rodgers. I ain't seen it in Leclerc. I ain't seen it on the South Side, West Side, Greenville. I ain't seen it in Miami. I ain't seen that, Pete.
Kevin Garnett being joined by Paul Pierce and Tony Allen, two teammates he won an NBA championship with at the expense of my Los Angeles Lakers. Anyway, can I also add in this? Does the NBA have a branding issue? I don't see a lot of NBA commercials nowadays on my television. I felt that back in the day, they used to do a really good job of promoting the NBA product. If you remember that old tagline back in the 90s, I love this game. You get later and later into the 2000s where amazing happens. Or those split screen commercials, you remember those? It used to be like LeBron on one side, Kobe on the other. They're saying the exact same thing. Why did the NBA go away from that? I'm just not seeing it as much as I used to now. I don't see it at all. I don't hear the NBA say this is where amazing happens. And hey, I get what KG's trying to say. Listen, how do you not appreciate a guy in LeBron James who's 40 years old still putting guys on posters? And these guys are half his age. Or you have a guy who's 7'4", 7'5", shooting one-legged three-pointers. We didn't see that back in the 90s. We didn't see that back in the 80s, if we're being honest. We didn't see that in the 2000s. We saw that with Dirk, but just that's once every blue moon. Now we got guys today who are doing that almost like walking and chewing bubble gum at the exact same time. I understand that there are a lot of people that hate the influx of the three-point shooting, such as myself. But when you talk about a guy such as Draymond Green saying that the game is penetrating pitch, which he's giving homage to Kobe because Kobe spoke about that with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson on their program, Knuckleheads. As much as he wants to say, I hate that it's penetrating pitch and it's nothing but three-point shooting. Well, Draymond, that's how you won your rings. The three-point shot has now become the fun thing. Thanks to Steve Kerr and before him, Mark Jackson. They saw two guys in Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and said, shoot the ball as much as you want from distance. You can shoot it 13, 14, 15 times. Who cares about efficiency? Just jack up those shots. The three became more exciting than the dunk. Kids don't want to dunk the ball anymore. They want to shoot outside. They want to shoot threes now. For those basketball purists, and if you're trying to teach your son or your daughter, listen, you run around the cone and you go to the basket for an easy layup. No, they're stopping at the wing, sliding to the corner. They want to hit those threes like they see Damian Lillard do. On the other side of it, Joel Embiid is now a guy that says load management is the thing because it's more important to be playing on June 6th, which is game 1 of the NBA Finals, than it is playing on January 5th, December 19th, December 12th, March 1st. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is much more important, so I'm not going to play all 82. Fans will be lucky if I play 60. So I understand that your girlfriend or your significant other saved up their hard-earned money because this may be the only time this year, heck, maybe the only time within the next 5 years that you can come and see me play live. But I got to think long-term. Another problem that I have with the NBA, it feels like they're still clinging on to LeBron James and Steph Curry for dear life because they do not know yet who's going to be the next face of the NBA. You heard Anthony Edwards say it. This is what you got Wembanyama for. I don't want to be the face. As much as people want to dub me as the next face of the NBA, I don't want to be that. I can hear them right now. Their knees are knocking together. The NBA saying, well, if it's not Anthony Edwards, who? And they're not thinking international guy. Not yet. The NBA's never been in that place. They can say Giannis is the best player in the league. They can say Jokic is the best player in the league. They've never said that an international guy has been the face of their entire organization. And we have had a lot of great international players. Ja Morant, it felt like he was going to be that guy. Then he gets into his trouble. Jason Tatum, it doesn't feel like he has that aura that the NBA wants for him to be the face of the franchise. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Paolo, could Paolo have a chance for my Orlando Magic fans? Could Paolo have a chance in the next 4 or 5 years to be the face of the league? So to bring it home, is TNT, ESPN, ABC, NBC soon to come, Amazon soon to come? Does it hurt that it feels like they still cling on to the eras of the past? And they defend their era. The players get more than ever monetarily. They're more skilled than ever. But also, is it our fault as NBA fans that are the diehard fans not promoting the brand to other individuals like we promote TV shows? Hey, man, watch this show. Watch that show. Oh, you should watch Anthony Edwards, man. He's must-see TV. I don't think we do that. I know I don't. Unless you talk to it about me and I can tell that you're another NBA head, I'm not bringing up the game to you. I assume that you don't like the game as much as I do. Is it the NBA's fault because they're not promoting the game like they used to? They're just living off of LeBron James, Steph Curry, and this is now a global game? Or does this lay at the feet of one Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny the Jet Smith? Let me know. 641-1010. You know what was crazy? Last night during the All-Star festivities, Draymond Green damn near guaranteeing an NBA title this year from the Golden State Warriors with the addition of Jimmy Butler. How do they fare against the best from the West? Let's talk about it with Keith Smith of the Front Office Show next on Open Gym.
There are 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and Jags football.
To the 5, into the end zone, touchdown!
Jaguar football lives here. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week,
Henry Cosper, senior basketball player at Wolfson High. Henry is a member of the National Honor Society and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Congratulations, Henry.
For
certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Plumbing problem, septic emergency, HVAC system not doing its job? Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. From leaks, clogged drains to septic installations and air conditioning repairs, we've got the tools and expertise to get it done right. Dial 904-862-6769 now and let our friendly team handle the dirty work so you don't have to. Remember, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm Attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Our next guest does great work with the NBA front office show with himself and Trevor Lane. But if you ask me, he belongs in an NBA front office. He is Keith Smith, contributor on Spot Track and the co-host of the front office show with the legendary Trevor Lane. Make sure to follow and get all your analysis of the game of basketball from him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. Keith, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on the show. I forgot to allow the listeners to know what our question of the day is in our second hour, and I want to ask you and get your thoughts. Who's your favorite international player of all time?
Oh, of all time? That's easy. Arvydas Sabonis.
Ooh.
I grew up as a kid growing up on basketball in the 80s and 90s. And we heard about this like mysterious Russian guy,
right?
Who played for the USSR for years and years and years. And it was like, he's going to come to the NBA someday, going to come. And then he finally did. And it was like, even that version of him was so much fun, there. And it was, that's an easy answer for me.
Absolutely. The reason why I asked that question, Kevin Garnett was asked that question, brought up the name Shane Heal from when he played with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the question of the day in our second hour for you, the listener, 641-1010, your favorite international player of all time. So, Keith, give us your honest opinion on the All-Star game and the entire weekend.
Yeah, I think the format of the All-Star game was okay. I liked that the game where the real All-Stars, I don't remember what they were calling them. I can't remember what silly names they gave the teams, but it was the one with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, the one with the real older guys.
Yeah, the OGs.
Played the Rising Stars. Yeah, the OGs. Yeah, that's right. They played the Rising Stars. I thought that game was a lot of fun because you knew going in, I talked to a lot of players. They're like, we're not losing to that Rising Stars team.
Right.
So a lot of those guys were super focused. So that part I thought was a lot of fun, with that. I, really enjoyed that part of it. But, overall, I thought that part was okay. But, God, all the stoppages and, essentially what amounted to skits and whatnot. In between there was just, that just was too much. And I got it. I knew they needed to meet their TV windows and get in the ad breaks and all that.
Right.
The weekend as a whole, I thought Mac McClung was a lot of fun.
Yes.
But I get it. People don't like that he's not a, mainstream NBA guy in there. It's, we get a street ball dunker then. What are we doing?
Right.
And, all that. So it just feels like it's lost a lot of its luster.
Continuing our conversation with Keith Smith, one half of the front office show. He does that show with the great Trevor Lane. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. So a lot of players, including one of Draymond Green, voiced a lot of displeasure with the new format. But it feels to me that the NBA, they're grasping at straws here because a lot of the players haven't been able to take the game seriously enough to where we aren't having to make new formats and think of something wild to get these guys to compete. So just your thoughts on the fact that these guys were ultimately complaining about how the format was last night.
Yeah, I can't put it any way better than what Charles Barkley first said was, hey, man, it was your generation that screwed the game up and ruined it.
Right.
So that's why we have to try all this weird stuff. And then I thought Oscar Robertson also put it really well when he said, Draymond Green just talks a lot. That's all he's doing. He's just talking.
Right.
You know, like I thought he, put it well as well. You know, hey, you're just mad you're not out there passing it to Steph Curry because if you're not doing that, what are you doing? So,
right.
You know, I look at it as there's a nostalgia factor in the All-Star games. Like I said, I grew up on 80s and 90s. Guys weren't exactly going super hard then either.
Okay.
You know, everybody has these memories of these moments from All-Star games where maybe they locked in and played hard for a 4 or 5 minute stretch, but that was it. The other 40-plus minutes, they weren't wiping each other out and, you know, sprinting full court to chase guys down. None of that stuff was going on. It's just, you know, it's a meaningless game where people want them to play super hard, but I guarantee you if you're a team of, you know, Team X and your player goes out there and he, you know, breaks his ankle because he's going really hard, and now he's out for the rest of the season and blows your shot at a title, guess what? You're going to be complaining about why was he going so hard in an All-Star game that doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely. And staying on the subject of Draymond Green and also staying healthy coming out of the All-Star break, nearly guaranteed a championship last night with the Warriors now adding Jimmy Butler to the roster. Draymond also said on his podcast that Steph Curry had a conversation with him not too long after the trade was made and basically said this is the last ride. So a lot of pressure being put on Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, but does Jimmy Butler give that group a chance?
Yeah, he gives him a chance. I think Draymond, you know, I mean, part of me is what else do we expect him to say, right? He's not going to be like, yeah, you know what, maybe we'll get knocked out in the first round. Like, you know, that's not how he thinks. That's not how he got to where he is as a player. So I'm not going to, you know, beat up on him too much over that. But yeah, I mean, that's that's pretty pie in the sky there. I think, you know, when you get into this with, with the Warriors, they're better and they're going to be a much tougher out with Jimmy Butler because he helps so much with things they didn't have. They needed more on-ball creation. They needed another guy with a little bit of size that can defend, you know, on the wing. So all that stuff is going to be really good, you know, for them. But yeah, it's just so tough. I mean, the West is, you know, are they better than the Thunder or the Nuggets or, you know, even the Lakers, the Mavericks, the Clippers? Like, I don't know that they're better than those teams. I'm not willing to quite get to Draymond's level just yet with that.
Continuing our conversation with Keith Smith. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. So you're on a lot with Ryan the Hacker Green here on the Superstation, and he talks a great deal of Orlando Magic basketball, and we always love that here in the city of Jacksonville. Just wanted to ask you, how crucial is this stretch post All-Star for Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic?
Yeah, huge. I mean, they should come out as healthy as they've been all year. I mean, obviously, Bo Wagner's done for the season, but everybody else, you know, I'm really hopeful this time, you know, downtime is going to get Jalen Suggs back in the lineup for them. They really need him back on the floor. And then their schedule to close is one of the easier in the league. Right. So they've kind of gone through it a little bit, right? If we put it that way over the last month or so. And if not, you know, I think they just kind of ran out of steam with so many guys were hurt. They were struggling big time. But now I think we're in a position where they are really going to come out healthier, easier schedule, and I think they're really going to be able to attack, you know, this stretch run final third of the season. And I think we'll see them finish up in that top six in the East where they're an assured playoff team and all that, and then back to being a tough out. But, yeah, they've got to get it together. And, I mean, let's just hope they can find a way to make some shots because that's the, you know, number one thing they struggle with. They just cannot hit a jumper to save their lives.
Was it a mistake, in your opinion, for them to stand pat at the trading deadline?
Yeah, I think so. I understand where they were coming from, that, you know, they just wanted their guys back and they believe in that group. And, and all that. I get that, and I respect that. But there was an opportunity for them to go get a player or two that could really push them forward, and for them not to be able to do that, I think that is, I think that was a miss. I'm not going to, bury them for it like some have, but I do think that's a missed opportunity to get better and add some players, especially guys who can do, some stuff that they need as far as shooting and the like goes.
Finishing up our conversation with Keith Smith of the NBA Front Office Show. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. So, got to talk about Luka Doncic and the trade to the Los Angeles Lakers. It still hasn't sunk in for me yet, Keith, that he is donning the purple and gold.
Yeah.
I was watching and listening to you and Trevor Lane when the trade went down. Immediately, you guys are on Twitter going live, and I'm thinking that it's a hack. But, Shams Charania doubles down. He says it's not a hack. This is actually happening. I just never would have thought that a team would trade a top 5 player who's not even in his prime yet. And you're saying that he has issues, whether that be his conditioning or you think that he has attitude problems, whatever the case. I just feel like a guy like that, you try to make it work with him, but in the middle of the night, he's gone and he's a Los Angeles Laker.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's been so much of that I don't understand, where, why, what was, it almost got to the point where, like, we're going to find out, like, Luka, his left leg fell off. Right. Like, what are we doing here, right? Like, this is just so crazy. And it really is, it's still, more baffling to the day. I mean, I am willing to at least, get their mindset of they love Anthony Davis. They think he's going to be great. But I don't want to hear about availability concerns and conditioning and injuries and all that when the guy you got misses a ton of time himself generally.
Right.
Like, that's an issue. Now he's already out, right? He's going to be out for at least probably 2-3 more weeks. So, yeah, just continues to be, a few weeks later here, an absolutely baffling, decision that they made. Like, I really don't, get it. And it's going to take a while to really, like you said, for that one to sink in and fully understand.
Now, Will Barton was on a podcast not too long ago. He thinks that there is going to be growing pains between Luka Doncic and LeBron James in terms of who's going to be closing out the games, because neither one has had to play off the ball for another player that's a star caliber player at any time in their career. But for me, I've said that, listen, LeBron figured it out with D Wade. He figured it out with AD. He figured it out with Kyrie Irving. But for you, do you think that Will Barton has a point there, that there is going to be problems in big spots between LeBron and Luka in terms of who closes out the ball game?
I think initially it'll be a little bumpy for those guys, because I think what's going to happen is it's going to be, well, I like the ball here in this kind of moment, and now it's going to be I want to set up on the right wing and you cut through and drag an extra defender. Like, I don't want you there. It's going to be a little bit weird, but I'm more with you. These are two of the smartest players at figuring stuff out, and they're two of the smartest guys at diagnosing and figuring things out on the fly. So they're going to be fine in the end. I think they'll be okay. My bigger issues with the Lakers are, I don't know how they're going to stop anybody. Like, LeBron's just not a good defender at this point in his career. Luka has never been a good defender. Austin Reeves isn't a good defender. They don't have, like, defensive-minded guys that can really close down on the back line behind them. So they're going to struggle on that end. But I think, J.J. Redick's a smart coach, and if he knows, hey, the best way forward for us is to win a whole bunch of games, 125 to 120, that's what he'll lean into, and that's what they'll go to.
Final one for Keith Smith. Follow him on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA. Is there a team that you're going to be keeping your eye on, East or West, in the second half of the year as we inch closer now to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think in the West, the team I really am very curious to see, I'll take the Lakers out of the mix because we're all kind of, on that, is what happens with the Houston Rockets? We talked about the Magic didn't make a move, right? Neither did the Rockets. The Rockets have, they told us for months, we're not going after a star yet, and then they held true to that. So I'm very curious to see, what happens with them as they go forward. here. What does that look like? How do they build it out? And then in the East, I'll give you it kind of, we talked about Orlando. So another team I'm very interested in is the Indiana Pacers. Can they recapture that magic that they had a year ago where they made that really great run to the East Finals? Can they kind of find that again and make that similar type run? Those are the teams I'm kind of looking at, because I'm taking the easy ones off the board, like Cleveland and OKC and, of course, Boston.
He belongs in an NBA front office. Just right now, he is a part of the front office show. He is Keith Smith. You can follow him for all his analysis on Twitter at Keith Smith NBA, and also make sure to give a listen to the NBA front office show with Keith Smith and Trevor Lane. Keith, thank you so much again, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road once we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
There he goes, Keith Smith, Spot Track NBA front office show. 30 more regular season games left, and then we are headed to the NBA playoffs. The phone lines are open. Text line open as well. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The rumors and trades.
That is the game within the game.
The decisions and deadlines.
Our work is not done now.
The off-season overflows with surprising storylines.
I'm all ears.
Let AA Automotive and 1010XL guide you through the off-season.
Hey, folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857, or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
Florida aims to overwhelm Oklahoma on their trip to the top. Gators Sooners, tomorrow night at 7 on 1010 AM.
Craft beers, food trucks, live music, and more beer at the Riverside Craft Beer Festival this Sunday afternoon at Riverside Arts Market. Get your tickets at riversidecraftbeerfestival.com. Proceeds benefit Community Pete's Care and the Rotary Foundation.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is Daytona, the awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross, and the most challenging course to witness the air-catching, adrenaline-pumping, heart-pounding action unlike any other race in Florida. Daytona Supercross. The biggest names battle it out under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 1st. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scotty Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
The Players is proud to support Canine Companions in their mission to provide highly trained service dogs to adult, children, and veterans with disabilities free of charge. 22 days to the Players.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Team 10XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Gotta catch it first.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Matt. It's McClung.
Yep.
Come on, bro. Let's just see what, you know what we should do? What? We should just have McClung do 5 dunks, and then we call it a wrap. And we leave. Got spinning on a hoverboard. Like, what? Oh, my God.
So hold up. Jump over the guy on the hoverboard.
We got 2 balls in play here. As he's spinning. Spin, young man. No! Vince Carter, you are being challenged for the greatest dunker in dunk history. You are being challenged right now.
I think he's going to put it behind his back.
First time. Because we couldn't see it, but he
I know what he did. He hit the front of the rim. He jumped over, hit the front of the rim, pumping in with
when you see it in slow motion, folks, you're going to like it.
Yeah, that's over. Yep. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Did Mac McClung save the dunk contest? 3-time dunk contest champion. The first time an NBA player has won 3 consecutive NBA dunk contests. Without question, probably the highlight of All-Star Weekend. Mac McClung, G-Leaguer Mac McClung, winning his 3rd slam dunk contest championship. The odds have now come out for the next contestants for the 2026 dunk contest, and aside from Ja Morant being plus 150 and Anthony Edwards being plus 200, none of these guys really moved the needle for me. I think Zion Williamson's time has passed. I think if he wanted to do it, he would have done it by now. Jalen Green would be interesting. I know he's done the NBA dunk contest before. Would he want to try his hand at that again? Derrick Jones Jr., nah. I don't think you convince Aaron Gordon to do it again. Zach LaVine, I think he's done as well. Remember the dunk contest? It really felt like it used to be about the stars. And maybe that's something that Keith Smith was talking about, that nostalgia part is kind of the thing we miss. Jordan versus Dominique. Hometown D. Brown with the pumps. Creating great moments. Kobe and his flair during the dunk contest in Cleveland in 97. Vince Carter in 2000. Hey, Jason Richardson had a couple of dunks in the dunk contest that were very memorable. The last great dunk contest we've had between 2 competitors was Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. But other than that, I understand the NBA tries to get a lot of high flyers. But these are also a lot of guys I would believe, in my opinion, you don't know. I think you had an idea about a guy like J.R. Ryder, Harold Miner, Desmond Mason. Not anymore. You're just trying to get guys to fill in that spot. And if you remember, after Kobe won it in 97, the NBA took a 2-year hiatus from the dunk contest. 98, they replaced it with like a 2-ball competition. 99, you had the strike shortened year. Vince Carter then has the show of shows in 2000. The 5-3-6, the NBA is down to me because of the quality of play. Two-man game made it boring, and everyone wants to shoot threes, lack of moving the ball. I can agree with that. I don't know if guys that watched in yesteryear enjoy just seeing guys play Olay defense and you're shooting 30 to 40 threes as a team per game. This is not even a one-off. Per game, that's how much you're shooting. Aesthetically, to me, that's not the NBA I watch. That's not the NBA I grew up with. And heck, the NBA is a very copycat league. Let's just be honest. You weren't going to find a Shaquille O'Neal, but when Shaq was winning his championships, you thought you needed a dominant force in the middle to have a chance of winning a championship. Kenny Smith says with the Houston Rockets teams, you needed 2 or 3 small guards. Aside from having Hakeem Olajuwon, you understood that you weren't going to find another Hakeem. But if you had 3 small guards that could shoot the ball, you'd have a chance. I think the understanding was, at least for me, when it came to the Golden State Warriors, you just can't have 2 guys that shoot threes win an NBA championship. That's just not possible. And not only did they do it once, but they did it 3 times before they won that 4th one in 2022. They did it 3 times where they were undoubtedly the team in the NBA. All of a sudden, everyone has to shoot threes. Everybody has to be a 3-point shooter. Even your big men now, that's almost a requirement. Now, in order to be able to get on the floor for a lot of these NBA teams. The 859, big Orlando Magic fan, even during the really lean years. I love hearing that. Watching the NBA is tough. I'm old school. I got to see kids play in college and build a brand by the time they got to the NBA. I have no clue who most of the role players are today. Thank God for Paulo and France in the O. Hoping big things down the stretch for the Magic. We play a lot of Orlando Magic games here on the Superstation. Love the run that they had last year. It's been tough this season. I understand the injuries, but full disclosure, when Paulo went down, I was nervous but not afraid. Franz went down, nervous but not afraid. Both of them came back. I am nervous, afraid, and I don't even feel like I'm holding up water. Is Jalen Suggs the answer? Is that who they need back? I do believe that they can still become a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference where they can avoid that play-in. But I think the big mistake which they made was not bringing in another shooter. But I would like to think that Jeff Weltman and company still want to believe in the shooters in which they have. Gary Harris, KCP. I think they really love Jet Howard. I think they really believe Jet Howard's going to be a serviceable 3-point shooter. And then you have 3 playmakers on the floor and Jalen Suggs, Paolo Banchero, and Franz Wagner, who's going to be able to get guys like that open shots. So maybe that's why they don't make a move. And you heard Jeff Weltman on 96.9 The Game in Orlando, if you listen to that on the internet. And he says that it seemed that teams were trying to make the squeeze on us. They wanted us to give up a whole lot that we just weren't willing to give. in order to answer a problem that may become a problem again in the next 3 or 4 months. But the Orlando Magic are not even shooting league average from downtown. League average is 36%. Orlando is ranked last in the NBA in three-point percentage. Could you have brought in a Luke Kennard? That probably would have costed you less. I heard Kobe White. I heard De'Aaron Fox. I think you beef up this team through shooting. For them not to do that, to me, they came out as losers during the NBA trading deadline. When it comes to favorite international players of all time, 731, you got it, man. Tony Kukoc, hands down. And imagine what kind of player he could have been if he would have came into the league as a young guy without Jordan and Pippen. What kind of numbers would he have put up? But I did see another individual put that of Wally Szczerbiak, the 6'7" Wally World. Wally Sizzler, as Jamie Foxx called him during the Jamie Foxx show, if you remember that. I used to love Wally. NBA All-Star. Wally Szczerbiak. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have to thank you for joining us on the program today. Normally we're on Sundays. The next time we will talk to you is going to be on Sunday at 11 a.m. We're on from 11 to noon. Hack and Rick Ballou are both going to be back here throughout the week. So if you did not enjoy the program, we do apologize. But for those of you who did, we do thank you for tuning in to the program, talking a little round ball with us on a show we like to call The Open Gym. So for Dylan Denmark, I am RJ Saunders. The next time we will talk to you is this weekend from 11 to noon on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.